host, Todd Bookspan. Oops. Welcome, everyone, to another Tuesday 10X webinar on the Trust Engine channel. I am your special host, Todd Bookspan, subbing in for our good friend, Dave Savage, who is traveling today. And I'm always so excited to have the opportunity to be here with you on a Tuesday. And even more excited that I've got a special guest, someone I consider a friend, but really one of the people I've got a top level of respect for in the mortgage industry, none other than Wally Elibiary. Welcome, Wally.
Hey, thank you, Todd. Thank you, man. I've always been a big fan. One of my favorite podcasts, that 24/7 mindset that we've ever done, was with yours. Yeah, I mean, candidly, I've probably watched it like 17 times. A ton of value. So I appreciate your support.
Well, I love that. I appreciate it. And so I think when we interview Wally, Wally's got a lot of hats, right? $200 million team leader, loan officer, and now best-selling author and coach. I know he's got some cool offers for you. He's not here to sell anything today. He's really just here to educate and train. And, I think it was such a unique time, Wally, for you to kind of, make this transition to, really kind of step up your leadership, right? We came out of an amazing market, 2020, 2021, part of 2022. And then we've kind of, crashed and burned in the end of 2022. And last year wasn't a great year for a lot of people, but you continue to have success with what you teach. So why now? Like, what's the message of today?
I think the biggest message is, I was talking to an assistant of mine at the office, and I said, did you call the realtor after you saved that deal with the client? He goes, no. I said, here's what I need you to understand. There's so many loan officers out there that are a secret lender. And what I mean by that is, we all do, majority of us do a phenomenal job throughout the process, but no one hears about how phenomenal of a job that we're doing. And I said, imagine like you're a running back, you catch the ball on the 5-yard line, you run it 90 yards and the fumble 5 yards before the end zone, while another running back comes in and runs it and gets the touchdown. Like, if you ran it 90 yards, if you've done the work, if you've saved a loan, if you've closed on time, if you've pre-approved that difficult client, if you've gone the extra mile, announce it, let the world know. And the goal today is kind of shining a light how the top 5 ways a loan officer cannot be a secret lender.
I love that. I feel it's always that balance between, humility and not, being the person who's beating your chest about how amazing you are. But at the same time, unfortunately, we know that clients and real estate agents don't always recognize that. And so I think that's a struggle for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's definitely a struggle for a lot of people, but it's, if you understand the formula, all the formula is a story, right? What happened? What'd you do about it? And what was the outcome? And that's just a phenomenal book. I'm sure you've read it, and many of us have, called Story Brand. Is really emotionally connecting. And Rene Rodriguez does this amazingly, but really emotionally connecting with your audience. And, just because you're not a public speaker, your audience is still the borrower, your audience is still the buyer's agent, your audience is still the title company, the audience is still the listing agent. You have an audience through a mortgage loan transaction. You just got to be able to articulate your value, showing them that you've gone the extra mile, and that will help you stand out massively against other loan officers.
Yeah, and I think it's so interesting, right? So for maybe the 2 or 3 of all the people who are watching this who don't know your history, I mean, I remember, it had to be maybe 2017. You can correct me on the year at Sales Mastery. I can remember bumping into Dave Savage and him saying, "Gosh, I just had breakfast with Wally, and he's really going to commit himself to annual mortgage reviews. And this is going to be an amazing journey to watch." And can you kind of just walk people through where you were before that conversation with Dave, and then kind of what changed to get you to where you are now?
I wonder if I post too much, because you just said that, for the one or two of you that don't know the story. No,
Well, you know what? I
so
always love
this,
the fact we've got a new audience, but I also never want to let the new person not understand truly why they should be listening.
no, I love it. I love it. I love it. So, all right. So 2019, I was doing about $100 million in loans. And that's kind of the point where Dave really caught me. And, it's great, $100 million loans, but my value had no worth. And what I mean by that is 97% of every loan that I closed. So 97 million of the 100 million were new deals from realtors. So my retention of my past clients, or loans that I got from my database, or loans that I got from my affinity, my wealth partners, was only 3%. With Dave really helped me understand with Mortgage Coach, which we'll kind of dig in a little bit today, how he helped me understand that how to do an annual mortgage review using Mortgage Coach and be able to articulate just as much value as I did throughout the loan process, but helping a client self-discover how they can make their mortgage run more efficiently. So in 2019, the mortgage efficiency checkup was birthed. And what I mean by birth is I failed forward. Dave helped me connect all my closing disclosures to all the Mortgage Coach and help build it all out. And they've done a phenomenal job with Mortgage Coach and the automation of it. Now the connection with Optimal Blue and the APIs. So, I mean, it's just come a super long way. But you look at the 100 million that I did in 2019, then 2020, it jumps up to 150 million, 150 million in 2020. Well, 34% of the loans that I closed came from my database and my CPA's database, my financial advisor's database, my family will attorney's database, my insurance agent's database, and my realtor's database, which is what's built the 6-lane highway, which is part of the book 24/7 mindset. And the ability to be able to use a tool like Mortgage Coach helped me, like I said, go from 2019, $100 million of loans, 2020, $150 million of loans, 2021, $200 million in loans, and it continued to excel. And that's where the vision came from of the what we'll talk about today when I start my slides is what's the difference between an addition loan officer and a multiplier loan officer. The goal is to help you become a multiplier loan officer so you can double and triple your business.
I just love that. And so thanks for, kind of sharing that piece, because ultimately, there are, I think people who are top level practitioners in, in the business. And I think that was one of the other epiphanies that I had. I think it was had to be during 2020, because I can remember literally, I think I jumped in from the back of my pickup truck when I was towing my Airstream around the country. And that's where you were rolling out Sales Boomerang as a tool. And, you were talking about the fact that you had your financial advisors and CPAs were willing to share their databases with you. And, I've heard people over the years use the term data bank, but I feel like you have actually proven and done it where other people just talk about it.
Yeah, in 2019, I had 2,000 people in my database, and that sounds like a lot. But when you're doing 4, 5, 6, 7 mortgage efficiency checkups in a day, scheduling with your past clients, you run out of people to reach out to and have conversations with if it's 2,000. Well, if 2019, I had 2,000 people in my database, just one calendar year. So just one set of 12 months later into 2020, I had 11,000 people in my database. I did not close 9,000 loans. I closed, I think it was maybe like 300 loans or 400 loans that year, but jumping up to 11,000 people in my database, what was great about that is now I had 11,000 people in my Sales Boomerang, 11,000 people in my HomeBot, in my Mortgage Coach, in my BombBomb, targeted on Facebook. And then I put together a model that helped me get in relationship with those 11,000 people. And the model was that through HomeBot, you have your digital, which I'll dig in a little bit further in today, the digital digest that goes out. Well, it's your contact information and then the financial advisor's contact information. Well, a BombBomb email would go out to them on a monthly basis of me locked in arms with the financial advisor, or me locked in arms with the CPA, giving them an update what's going on in the market, and giving them an update what's going on in the taxpayer world or the financial advisor world. And what's also super cool about that is now the same videos that now we targeted them on Facebook and be able to, they would see them on the feed. And what I noticed was as I started doing mortgage efficiency checkups directly for a CPA's database or a financial advisor's database, the business started coming in and they saw me as the awareness as the go-to person for that partnership. So adopting databases now, there's 28,000 households in my HomeBot, Sales Boomerang, Mortgage Coach, BombBomb. And then there's 28,000 households that we market to through that. Now I've only tracked roughly around 4,000 loans that I've closed. So it's 24,000 different households that I'm able to market to and grow a relationship with. And it's an audience that is not only sees my contact, but that I interact with. And now my loan officers for the branch are able to do mortgage efficiency checkups for the CPA's database, financial advisors database, and such from there.
Yeah, I just, mind blown, right? I'm like here swinging my arm and cheering Wally on because, ultimately, the thing I think I want you all to take away, right? Let me put on my coaching hat for a second is, remember, Rome wasn't built in a day, right? Wally's talking about a few years of doing this. And so I think as Wally will walk us through in a few minutes through his presentation, he's going to give you ideas on where you can start today. And then any holes you have, if you're watching this live, just go ahead and ask a question in chat. We'll have some time at the end for some Q&A if you all have questions. If not, don't worry, I've got plenty. If you're watching this on video, just go ahead. The team monitors this in the YouTube channel and Facebook, and Wally, we'll cue Wally in if you have more questions down the road. Spoiler alert, because he's not going to sell it himself. But if I can make it, there we go. His book is amazing, and you can learn step by step, literally what Wally has done and built. And so I would just encourage you as you're thinking today, the hat I want you to have on is the hat of a student, whether you're a loan officer who's doing 100 million yourself, or someone who's just struggling to do 1 million. I want you to think through with curiosity, what is it that Wally's doing that I can do differently? What's that first domino that I can add into my system in order to get myself on the track to be whatever that level producer you want to be? You might only want to be a $20 million producer, but great. But think about what does that curiosity mode look like, and what is Wally doing differently? And then where do I want to start? Which I think is what he's going to walk through here in his presentation, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I would just encourage everyone, sometimes I get feedback and like, well, Wally, I don't want to do 200 million. Absolutely awesome. What do you want to do? I want to do 20 million. Perfect. That is 1000% okay. Can I show you a way how to do 20 million while you only have to work 10 hours a week instead of working 40, 50 hours a week? I have no problem with someone not doing 200 million. I have no problem with you doing 5 million a year, but we've got to break the mold of stop doing the best we can do and start doing it the best way it can be done. If there's an easier way to do business, if there's a smarter, better, faster way to do business while we get our time back, that's a huge win across the board. It does not matter how much volume you close.
Yeah, and I think when you think about it, right, it's systems and it's models and it's technology, right? That's going to weave in there. And you've already mentioned some of the integrations that MortgageCoach has that have made it easier and faster for you to go through. So I know as you go through your presentation, let's make sure we point those out. I have to wear my Dave Savage hat too and make sure that I know you've got plenty to talk about on TCA, so I don't need to go down that rabbit trail yet. But it's such an important piece of what you do. I think a lot of you know my story, right? Literally my first day in the mortgage business, I went to a seminar. I had to buy pants first because I only own shorts, but I went and bought pants, and I went to a seminar where I bought MortgageCoach. My wife thought I was a fool because that wasn't the word she used, because I'd never closed a loan and I was already investing money into my business. And I actually started doing annual mortgage reviews. I didn't know that's what they were called, for the boss, the guy who ran the mortgage company, for his clients using MortgageCoach. And that was really my kickoff. And so, I've always had the conversations with Dave for years before we became friends around just these strategies. And I do agree with you, Wally. I mean, not everyone wants to get there, but you're going to help us get to whatever that level is. Or not everyone wants to get to 100 million, but you're going to help people get to whatever that level is faster if they can adopt and really implement and take action on what you're going to talk about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, very good. All right. You want me to share my screen?
Let's do it. You share your screen. I will go off screen and let you run here for a bit. I'll interrupt you. I'll pop on if I've got questions, or if you guys have questions, put them in the chat, and then Wally will roll for a bit, and then I'll jump in with them and we'll take this home.
All right. So you can see the screen okay, Todd?
Yes, sir.
All right. And then perfect. This works. Beautiful. I love it when technology works. I am not the most technology savvy, so most people don't know, but technology highly, highly, highly intimidates me. All right. So let's go through this. So what is the top 5 ways to not be a secret lender? So first, we've got to identify what are the 2 categories you walk into. And I guess, if you're honest, or if you want to be honest with yourself, you do not need to tell me, but ask yourself the question: are you an addition loan officer, or are you a multiplier loan officer? And what I mean by an addition loan officer is majority of us loan officers are stuck on this hamster wheel. And the hamster wheel is, let me hit the play button again so you can see that, which I think is like super cool on a PowerPoint. So you got the hamster wheel, they're moving. What most loan officers do is they go to a realtor, they get a referral, they get a commission, and they go back to the realtor, get another referral, get a loan, get a commission. And they're just on that hamster wheel of just almost like you're having to grovel to an agent or a realtor to be able to get the business. And what the model that I teach in the 6 Lane Highway Academy, and which we'll go through today, is it's you we it's a multiplier loan officer where I get one referral in the door, just like every other loan officer is. But the difference is I refer it out 4 times. I refer it out to a CPA. I refer it out to a financial advisor. I refer it out to a family will attorney, and I refer it out to an insurance agent. So when I refer out, I usually refer out somewhere in the neighborhood of about 120 referrals out on a monthly basis. If I'm referring out 120 referrals on a monthly basis, I'm receiving back normally about 55, 60, 65 referrals. So for simple math, let's just say 2 out of the 4 I receive back. So that means I've got 2 pre-approved clients consistently that I receive back from my CPAs, from my financial advisors, from my family will attorneys, from my insurance agents. So then I take the one of those referrals and I go reward that with the current buyer's agent that's been loyal only to me, that does not refer me with 3 names on a list. And then the other one that came in as a pre-approved client from my wealth partners, I go take that and use that to be able to prospect. So if you become a multiplier loan officer and you build these wealth partners around you, you're able to receive referrals back from them that are not attached to an agent. Then you've got freedom to be able to refer them to another referral partner or your current referral partner. The goal of this is how do you the opportunity is your responsibility. So if you look at it in business, we can accept the slice of the cake that the realtors provide us as from the one referral or one loan, or we can build the whole cake. And the whole cake, the whole mindset that I want you to understand is it's the controls in your hands. If you want to sit there and be a loan officer that goes to a realtor, gets one loan, one commission, then go back to the realtor, that's you, and that's totally okay if that's the way you want to run your business. What I've learned is how to do it the best way it can be done instead of me doing my best, which is I take that same one referral, I refer it out to 4 different wealth partners, a CPA, a financial advisor, a family will attorney, and an insurance agent. Then I receive referrals back, then I either refer those to new agents or refer those to current agents that I work with. And that's what the 6 Lane Highway is. So as you go through this, one thing I'm doing this afternoon at 2 p.m. Central is I'm doing a masterclass for how to turn your database into a data bank. So what I mean by that is if I'm referring out 120 referrals on a monthly basis, where are all those referrals coming from? It doesn't matter if you're referring out 5 or you're referring 10. Where are those referrals coming from? So if you grab your phone and you're available at 2 p.m. today, go ahead and scan that QR code. Then there's a free masterclass that I am teaching this afternoon at 2 p.m. Central. It'll be right there at your fingertips. I'll walk you through how I built a 7-day call after closing, how I built a 30-day call after closing, how I built the 6-month call after closing, how I also built the annual mortgage review call after closing, and how I built the mortgage efficiency checkup after closing. I've got a model from A to Z that I teach, and that's how I run my business to be able for me to walk away with that I refer out 120 referrals on a monthly basis on average to my wealth partners, which that means if I'm referring them out that much in business, I'm putting commissions in their pocket. So what I'll teach this afternoon, if you grab your phone and click that QR code, then what I teach this afternoon is how do I refer out over $2 million in commissions to our wealth partners, $2 million in commissions on a yearly basis that I refer out. So if you cannot make it this afternoon, it's a live class that I teach. Then the next slide here, grab your phone and join the private Facebook Academy. So 24/7 Mindset is a private group on Facebook. I will replay it live in there for you. So if you go in there, you'll see the how to turn your database into a data bank live in there, or you go to Facebook and just put in 24-7 Mindset Academy, and you'll see it right there at your fingertips, and you can scan that QR code. So the goal of this is now we're going to go through 5 different tips of how to not be a secret lender. And the next one, candidly, I start off with my favorite. So the next one we want to go through this 5 different ways that we grow our business on a pro tip. So the question I've got is, do you do a client commitment call? What is a client commitment call? So client commitment call was birthed from me doing a TBD approval or a CLA approval for a loan for a client, and then turning around and my realtor making an offer on a house with them winning the offer. And then I call the bar and say, great news, you've got the contract. Hey, Wally, by the way, can you match this deal from Wells Fargo? Or I've got this other lender here. Can you match, can you beat this other lender's deal? The client commitment call is before the offer goes out. And I call the client. I simply ask him, hey, I'm about to call the listing agent and convince the listing agent to accept your offer. I'm going to promise the moon to listing agent and promise them they'll have documents to title 5 days before closing, my ICD out 7 days before closing. I'm going to promise them I'm going to reach out to them every single Wednesday to give them a mortgage loan status report of where everything is in the file. And before I make that listing agent call, is there anything we need to discuss? Here's where your payment's going to be. Here's where your interest rate it could be. If I go help you capture this contract with a listing agent call, am I 110% your lender? The client commitment call is really important because it sets the tone, and then it helps you figure out if you're being secretly shopped or if you've got some competition out there. Listing agent call, unless you live under a rock, you should definitely know what a listing agent call is. It's when you call the listing agent and you explain to him or her that, hey, John Smith has submitted an offer on your 123 Apple Street. I'm sure it's an absolutely phenomenal offer. What we do differently, and not every lender does this, but what we do differently is we make our offers non-contingent on financing, because I collect the client's paycheck stubs, W-2s, bank statements, all their income asset documents before they make an offer on a home. I run everything through underwriting. I already have the underwriting approval, and I've got usually 3 to 4 conditions. The conditions will be simple things like, say, the appraisal, the title work, the survey, and then maybe an updated paycheck stub. So I can make an offer non-contingent on financing. Well, I don't want my buyer's agent's email offer be the only way that the listing agent understands that we stand out. So when we make the listing agent call, we're letting them know either, hey, it's non-contingent on financing. That's why it's a 10, 15-day close. That's why the letter from instead of a pre-qualification or pre-approval letter, you've got a conditional loan approval letter directly from my underwriting team. We really separate ourselves from the pack: in-house processing, underwriting, closing, all the fun stuff you want to say. But I truly want to do 2 things. I want to win that contract because I like getting paid. And number 2, I want to get to that listing agent to be able to prospect that listing agent. 2 massive ways to not be a secret lender. Pro tip number 1.3, if you want to call it that, is the listing agent expectations call. So what I do for that is, once a contract gets accepted, I don't call the borrower first to go through the options. I call the listing agent. I'm like, oh my God, you probably had what, 20 offers on this house, and you accepted our contract. I just have to ask, why'd you accept our contract over the other 20 offers that you had on the table? I want that listing agent to tell me how great I am. I want that listing agent to tell me what made me stand out from the rest of the pack. And then from there, it's a really easy conversation, because on the call with that listing agent, all I'm saying is, listen, I've promised you the moon and then some, but I want to make sure that my audio matches my video, meaning that what I say is what I do. So I'm not going to ask you for referrals. I'm going to ask you one simple question: is, do you receive the same kind of firepower when you go make an offer from your current lender? 9 out of 10 times the answer is no. Great. So as we go through this 30-day close or 15-day close, whatever it is, here's what your expectations are from me. If I meet or exceed these expectations, do you feel I've earned the opportunity to sit down with you and learn more about your business, where I can add value to your business? 8 out of 10, every single time, the answer is yes. You've got to be able to separate your pack, and those 3 calls in that order is absolutely huge. After I've locked the client in and we've disclosed loan, I pick up the phone and call the title company. So I pick up the phone and I call the title company. What's great about that is the escrow officer is usually somebody neglected. Now, if you've been around the block long enough, the escrow officer, I don't know how it is around the world, but here in Dallas, Fort Worth, the escrow officer is picked, the title company is usually picked by the listing agent, right? So I just sold the listing agent on how great I am and what I'll be able to do, and I want to be able to go after their business. But then the other side of the coin, I need a third party to cross sell me to the listing agent that I'm a really great guy. I'm a great loan officer. So when I call the title company, I find out from, hey, I know you've worked with a lot of great lenders, and I'm sure you've worked with a lot of lenders that you probably don't want to work with again. Tell me, what are some differences? How can I meet or exceed your expectations? What would I need to look like, smell like, taste like for you to be able to want to cross sell me to the listing agent? I want to get that title company escrow officer on my side, because if I can get that title company escrow officer on my side, it makes it so easy to get the listing agent on my side. Then now I'm getting the business from the buyer's agent. I got business coming in from the listing agent. Then that title company escrow officer, do you think he or she knows any other realtors? Yes. I guarantee you he or she does know other agents. Then now you've got another referral stream of referrals that you're able to get back. And the last one's kind of my favorite also from this. I started doing this, gosh, I want to say it was like, well, I started in 99, so it's kind of early. It's probably like 2002, 2003. I started doing a handwritten note to the seller. We get the sales contract. So I'm assuming this is how it is everywhere, including Texas. So if I get the sales contract, and that sales contract has the address of the property, and it has also the listing, the seller's name, all I do is send them a handwritten note and just say, hey, something along the lines of, hey, this is Wally. I'm doing the financing for the Smiths. They're buying your house. I'm going to be able to be early on closing. By the way, since I'm ready to do this financing, do you want me to give you a great deal on your purchase? Then from there, it's an easy conversation of them reaching out. But I'll pause right there, Todd. Any kind of insight of what I shared?
I was just waiting for you to get to the handwritten note piece to the seller, because I remember you talking about this before and seen it in the book. And I was like, I just don't know other loan officers who do that, but I think it's genius. Even if it was just a small conversion rate, which I imagine it's not, it's just a great idea. I mean, think about the fact that he's taking kind of an extra step. And so I just wanted to jump in and just, kind of give you a virtual high five as you kind of continue on.
Yeah, thank you. One thing that we're doing, we're rolling it out. I can't I'm learning in business, when you're scaling, everything that you want to do is not necessarily that you need to do. There's a lot of wants instead of just needs in business. But now the client concierge process is them reaching out to the seller on every closing and saying, hey, we're going to reach out to you 30 days after closing. And once you've got your first mortgage statement, if you want, we can do a yearly mortgage efficiency checkup for you, even though that we've not done your mortgage. Please email us over your most recent mortgage statement. Then we put them into HomeBot. Then we put them into Sales Boomerang. Then we also put them into MortgageCoach. And then it's an easy way to adopt business from the other side.
Yeah, I love that. I think we all forget about the fact that there's been a large fallout of loan officers in the last 6, 8, 10 months, and there's a lot of orphaned loans out there that you can adopt, and that's just one great strategy. But you probably have other friends and family members in your database. You've got loans, unfortunately, maybe you lost in your database to another lender that is no longer in business. And so think about the fact of being brave and having that conversation that Wally and his team are having.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you found value in these pro tips, there's 5 different ways to be able to grow your business with just off one single deal. So I want to give away a lot of free resources, and I'm gonna give a big surprise here at the end. That's a freebie for me to you. So I've got 14 different 1-hour video modules that I give completely for free. If you grab your phone, click that QR code, it'll take you to 24/7 Mindset Academy free resources. And there's 70 different handouts that I'll be able to give you. So that could be scripts that I'm teaching, copies of the handwritten note, copies of the listing agent call conversation, everything I just broke down, those 5 increments there. And just go in there and put in your email address, and then you'll get access to the whole Google Drive. And there's like 70 different modules in there that you can free download from there. So hopefully you see value in that. And if you see value in that, just please refer it to a friend. The goal is to make a difference in mortgage. And hopefully you can help me with that. All right. So
All right,
as
real
we
quick,
keep
for the
going,
people, hey, Wally, go back for 1 second. Let me just give out the
yeah.
URL. Some people can't see the screen, they're just listening. So it's just 24-7 mindsetacademy.com/resources. Hey, Paul, if you could throw that in the chat and then make sure we get that in the YouTube video, that would be great. Again, 24-7 mindsetacademy.com/resources. All right,
Cool.
take it away, Wally.
Awesome. Very good. All right. So now we're going to go to pro tip number 2. So if you know me well enough, or if you know anything about me, I am not the realtor guy. I'm not the cold call guy. I'm not the door knock guy. I am the wealth partner guy. I'm the database guy. So do you know the difference between a CPA and a tax strategist? You know, most loan officers unfortunately don't know the difference. They just think the CPA does your taxes. Now, there's 2 different types of CPAs, and the way I get a relationship with each one of them is through the tax returns that we already receive. So what you've got to understand is you can get or give a referral to a CPA on every single call, every single closing that you do, every single application that you do. So when I don't know how you guys pre-qualify your clients, but when I pre-qualify my clients, I ask for their paycheck stubs, W-2s, bank statements, and tax returns. And I don't care if you're a W-2 employee and you're 100% salary and there's nothing else on your tax returns. I'm still wanting your tax returns. Why am I still wanting your tax returns? Because I'm identifying from there if you're working with a CPA or if you're working with a tax strategist. Then also from there, I'm identifying, or if you're working with TurboTax, or if you just simply do your taxes yourself. From there, from those tax returns, it tells me what type of CPA, tax strategist, or online TurboTax type of build out that you do. Then I can customize the conversation. So if a client has a CPA, but then we're having talks about them wanting to buy an investment property, they need a strategist to be able to talk to them about depreciation, forced depreciation, then cost segregation. They need a higher level type of CPA, which would be considered a tax strategist. Or if they're using just simply TurboTax, I want to still be able to get them over to my CPA. Or what I mean by get or give, if they're got a CPA that's absolutely top notch, I ask them to refer me to their CPA. So if you think about it, when you're doing a loan, you have the ability to get or give a CPA referral. You've got the ability to get or give a financial advisor referral. You've got the ability to get or give a family will attorney referral. You've got the ability to get or give an insurance company referral. That's 8 different referral opportunities on every single call. And my goal is to help you unpack that. And if you can help you unpack that, then you can use your tools like I use, which is Mortgage Coach. So Mortgage Coach is a great tool that I sit down that after I go through an option, a client picks what loan program they're going to do. I reach out to the CPA, I send them over a copy of the total cost analysis that I have through Mortgage Coach. And in there, I have a video specifically to that CPA because what? I got their tax returns. I know who their CPA is. Then in there, I use the Mortgage Coach and I use the video recording and saying, hey, Mr. CPA, we have a mutual client, the Smiths. Now, they told me their goals are A, B, and C. I put together these 3 options. The one that I've got highlighted is the option they're going with. I just want to make sure the mortgage that they're picking is fitting your tax strategies. Here's my Calendly link. Please reach back out to me and let me know so I can make sure that the mortgage is fitting those tax strategies. So I'm using my Mortgage Coach. I'm using my total cost analysis that I'm already doing anyway. I'm using that tool to be able to help me get in a relationship with a CPA or be able to refer that out from there.
Dude, that's huge. What about there's a couple of people asking on scripts, and I know you cover that a lot elsewhere, but can you just give a quick script for the person who already has a CPA that you're looking at and it's not great? I mean, how are you you just saying, hey, I'm gonna have my CPA call you because your accountant sucks, or do you have and you're just forwarding that over, or are you getting their permission before you make that referral? What does that look like?
That's exactly it. I tell them their account sucks. Just kidding. So it's a really easy conversation, candidly. It's I just put you $500,000 in mortgage debt, so I can help build you out the most efficiently ran mortgage period. But with that being said, if you don't have somebody helping you grow your wealth in the financial advisor space and protect your wealth through tax strategist, we're going to be in a leaky ship and you're never going to reach your financial goals. So tell me, your CPA, what would you rate them 1 to 10? 10, they're this best CPA in the world. They come to the table with creative ideas. They're Johnny on the spot, and they're very, very efficient with helping you maximize your write-offs. One is you email them, they email you back a month later or a week later, and there's like 0 communication. They don't bring in ideas. And if they tell me 7 or less, I'm like, okay, so I do a really great job, but I can't do a good of a job to make up for CPA that's only a 7 or less. So I need to refer you out to my tax strategist, and they're going to be able to walk you through the difference of the value they're able to provide. Or if someone says, yeah, my CPA is a 10, I'm like, oh my God, if your CPA is a 10, I help 800 families a year. Can you introduce me to your CPA as a warm email introduction? Put them on the email, introduce me to your CPA, then let me reach out and refer my clients to your CPA on your behalf. I do the same conversation with a financial advisor, same conversation with a family will attorney, same conversation with an insurance agent.
Right. And look how easy it is, right? He's making the client look like the hero to their CPA or their financial strategist. And so I think it's really genius. And if someone just says no, are you okay with a no, or are you still referring them out anyway?
If they tell me, hey, I want to keep using TurboTax and I don't want to be referred to CPA, I'll say, hey, at the end of the day, if you feel that I've done a great job for you and I've earned your referrals to your family and friends in the future, I'll let this settle down. But with that being said, life happens and life changes. So after closing, we've got the 7-day call, the 30-day call, the 6-month call, the annual mortgage review, and the mortgage efficiency checkup. My team and I will touch base with you through those 5 calls over the next year to 2 years of follow to make sure that status is still the same and you don't want future help to help you maximize your write-offs. Over time, they'll break down. Over time, they'll ask for a referral.
Love it. Love it. Awesome. Thank you,
Cool.
sir. Keep going.
You bet. All right. So how to turn your database into a data bank webinar. So that's a free masterclass also that I'm doing. If you miss it and you can't make it, I'll also have it in the private Facebook group. It'll be reoccurring in there. You can watch it. So it'll be literally 90 minutes of free content of me teaching how did I turn my database into a data bank? What does that mean? How did I pull up referrals from my database that I referred out to CPAs, financial advisors, family will attorneys, and insurance agents that as of today in 2024, 40% of every loan that I close is a non-realtor loan. 40% of every loan that I close, if I close 10 loans, 4 of them come from either CPAs, financial advisors, family will attorneys, insurance, or a database. And I'm in the opportunity to be able to refer those clients directly to my realtors or use and be able to prospect new realtors from there. So now going through here, now we want to talk about financial advisors. It's the same setup. So what I explained to you earlier is I use Mortgage Coach as a tool, not a toy. And if I use Mortgage Coach as a tool, I'm using it as a multiplier loan officer. An amateur uses Mortgage Coach of helping convert one loan with a client and helping break down the options. A professional uses Mortgage Coach in the way that you take that Mortgage Coach total cost analysis, you set up a call and you get in a relationship with the CPA, the financial advisor, the family will attorney, the insurance, and you make sure that the professional team that you build around your current clients are of caliber to be able to sustain what you built out, but you want access to 2 things. The CPAs, financial advisor, family will attorneys, insurance agents, referrals back to you because you're referring them. And then also, if you're part of the academy, I show you how to actually get access to be able to get access and adopt their database and what the systems are from there. So this next slide is actually my favorite one of all these. And I keep saying that, which is kind of funny. But so Todd, this is a super duper important slide that Paul, I'd really love for you to kind of share this. So this QR code on here, so 24/7 100 question assessment. I get a lot of questions all the time is like, well, what business ideas can I have? So I literally created 100 questions to help you grow your business. It's completely free. You get all of them, and then it helps you kind of grade yourself. Then after you grade yourself, and I don't need to see the scores. If you want to send them to me, feel free to. But after you grade yourself, then you're able to actually pinpoint where is the weakest part of your mortgage game that you can focus on being the strongest part of your mortgage game. So have you seen this yet, Todd?
I have not. Not
Yeah.
this fancy version with the QR code that we can get. So, um,
Yeah.
but
If you when you're bored, you have nothing to do, I would love to get your feedback of if you download it and then just give me some insight. I mean, I think the biggest goal is me to giving away these free tools for loan officers to be able to actually grow and scale their business while they get their family time back, they get their life back. And a lot of times it's just they don't know what to do, so they end up doing nothing. The goal is here's 100 different ideas of what you could do to grow your business.
Remember, again, I already said it once, Rome wasn't built in a day. I do have to correct one thing from the previous slide. While I said an amateur just uses a TCA to convert a deal, I think an amateur, Dave would say, uses a fee worksheet still, just sends something, prints it out, and sends over a couple LEs for people to shop. So, there's a step in between the pro that Wally is and then the fee worksheet person. I don't know what you call that person. Maybe they're a semi-pro.
Yeah.
But those of you who use MortgageCoach day in and day out, I wouldn't call you an amateur, but what Wally's showing us is that we all have room for improvement.
Oh, thank you for correcting me. And I heard a quote this morning. I can't remember who I heard it from, but if you play football Friday night versus you play football Saturday versus you play football on Sunday, and it's the Sunday ones are in the ones in the NFL versus the college ones are Saturday, then the high school ones play on Friday. I think as we all develop, you figure out these shortcuts. And I remember when I was a fee-based loan officer or fee sheet loan officer, and it was pre 2013, and Dave Savage got a hold of me, and then we got into Mortgage Coach, and it became a standard in my mortgage business. But I did not learn from 2013 all the way to probably about 2019. I was just using Mortgage Coach to convert a client and help get a client to be able to refer me their business. But then, 2019 to now, my Mortgage Coach total cost analysis is seen more with the CPAs, financial advisors, family will attorneys, and insurance. And you can really double down on there. So thanks for that correction, by the way, Todd.
Well, I shouldn't call it a correction. I call it a suggestion. How's that? But
I
but I
love
do
it.
think we got a lot of rock stars in this community who are doing TCAs and but can take what you're teaching to take themselves to the next level.
Awesome. I appreciate that. All right. So let's discuss for a couple minutes here a difference between a family will attorney and a trust planner. So what I've learned is just because someone doesn't have a massive amount of wealth, they still can benefit from a family will attorney. So even if there's somebody single, right? So if you get somebody single that comes in and buys a $700,000 house, but puts 20% down, they just put down $140,000 equity in the house. I still refer them to a family will attorney that puts together at least a will together that hey, you've got $140,000 equity in your house. Where is that going to go if something happens to you, God forbid? Now, it's a great way to get an entry conversation into life insurance. Again, a referral out to one of your planners. And it's a great way to get into conversations about family will and trust. Now, the same thing, I do that with the total cost analysis through Mortgage Coach, being able to allow me to use that tool to get into relationship with a family will attorney or a trust attorney that I can get or give a referral from. So keep that in mind. Again, you can use your total cost analysis as a tool to be able to get in a relationship with wealth partners. Good. All right. Wrapping up here, almost done. So, Lane Highway Academy is a weekly coaching platform that I coach on every single week for 90 minutes. So this month, the month of February, it's everything and anything you can imagine of what to say, when to say, how to say it to a financial advisor. So if you want to know more about the Lane Highway Academy, there is a link there for it. Or if you go to the private Facebook group, there's a lot of free content around how to capture relationships free with a financial advisor, with a CPA, with a family will attorney. But let's get to the last pro tip, and then I've got a free gift I want to give everyone. So, what's the difference between an insurance agent and insurance broker? This might sound kind of elementary to you, but an insurance agent, if they're current brokerage, it's usually like who they've got relationships with. So, an insurance agent is usually somebody that has in-house servicing of that client. So they are Betty works right next to them, and they're the service advisor for that client. Versus the insurance brokers out there, once they do that binder, it gets sold or it gets passed on to an insurance servicer, and that insurance servicer then they market to those clients. So what I've been able to do with insurance agents and or insurance brokers that I highly recommend that you do is use the tool called HomeBot, and obviously use the tool of Mortgage Coach, because it helps them stay in relationships with their clients after their insurance service is being brokered out. So just because the insurance agent that you have has either in-house or has a broker format where there's an insurance servicer that services their book of business, it's a great tool to be able to use your total cost analysis to stay in relationship on a yearly basis to do a mortgage efficiency checkup with those clients. Because our insurance agent, we've got 4 insurance brokers that we do business with, and those 4 insurance brokers, they compile roughly around 9,000 people of my 28,000 households. That 9,000 is all in my HomeBot, Sales Boomerang, Mortgage Coach, and Bomb account. So insurance brokers is a great tool and a great way to use Mortgage Coach to get in a relationship with them. And finally, and last but not least, who wants 24/7 mindset ebook for free? So if you want access to the book, you can go to Amazon and buy it. All I ask in return is if you get the book for free, I would love for you to go on Google or go on Amazon and leave me a review. So we can leave this up here for a second, Todd, or we can close it out. But
Yeah, leave it up. Let's get people to get the book, because the book is pretty phenomenal, and there's a lot of resources, QR codes and stuff in there. Although I think Wally probably just gave all of it to you all here, and it's a great book. And I'm a person who, I do listen to a lot of audiobooks, but I bought Wally's book because it's a book you want to actually read and highlight and underline and go back to, because ultimately it's really that is how to build the ultimate mortgage practice. And Wally's walked you through a lot of it here, and he's going to give you all the other tools. But I think it's good to have just the written roadmap to get there. And Wally's given it. And I looked at it from, again, I put on my hat of curiosity, right? I mean, I've got a team that's done over $1 billion of transactions over the last 10 years. And I just said, okay, what could we learn from Wally? What are the things that we aren't doing that we could improve upon? And, for us, it's all the things that Wally just taught. It's the 6-lane highway. We have we're pretty good with our database and our annual mortgage reviews. In fact, we're really good at that. We're good at realtor business, but we haven't been great at the CPA, the financial advisor, and the family will folks. We've been really good in the insurance area. So again, we're like, okay, we gotta learn something from Wally and put it into action. So I think it's really a great opportunity for everyone. In fact, I was starting to shoot the code myself, and then I got distracted by picking up my book. And then I'll have Wally turn it off for a minute, but we can throw it up again at the end. I do real quick want to shine a light. Dave, who's on an airplane, interviewed Phil Jones yesterday. I'm super jealous because he was supposed to wait for me to interview him, but they were talking at like 6:30 in the morning. Apparently Dave didn't want to wake me up, although I was already out on the hiking trail. But I'll throw it in the chat. It's really exactly what to say in 2024. And so they're going to talk about a lot of stuff, and just stay tuned. I think a lot of that Deborah Bird and I are certified guides with Phil Jones. And in fact, Wally's been through our 2-day certification. And so we'll be doing, the next one's going to come up. We haven't finalized the date, but it's going to be in May, I believe, in Dallas. So just stay tuned on that.
Nice.
But I haven't watched it yet.
I think about you guys all the time when I see like my team would put me on joint texts or joint emails with leads or clients or referrals. And it's just, so are you opposed to? And it's like, it's all these embedded commands or what to say. It's like the coolest thing to see how Team Wally 2.0 has really adopted exactly what to say language. So I appreciate
love it.
appreciate you guys building that out.
Well, it was a lot of fun having you and Caleb in the class. All right, so stop sharing your screen. Let's you and I just kind of spitball back and forth. And then if you all have questions, go ahead and throw them in chat. If it's in there, we haven't answered it yet, then you might want to ask it again, just because now there's lots of comments and stuff in there. Someone's asking, apparently they're part of your client concierge program, and we're wondering if there's any discount on the academy.
It's discounted right now. It's normally $9.97, and it's discounted for to $4.97 instead of $9.97. So I'm running a special right now. If they message me, I'm not a difficult person to find. So if you message me or email me or you ask me a question to find, if I'm a difficult person to find, I should be fired. So if whoever that is, and you can rename nameless, but if you message me, I'll work something out with you where you're happy and you see value in it.
Perfect. And Jim Barker bought the book and said it's awesome. Jim's a good local guy, so it's good to see you here. So, I think that all right. So if you guys have any other questions, throw them in there. I'm just looking here. So yeah, Felicia's asking, are you giving the referral information to the clients, or are you giving your referral partners the client's information right from the start?
I'm doing a warm email introduction, introducing John Smith, the client, to Patty Sue, the financial advisor, sharing both their phone numbers, and they're both on the email together. The first paragraph is me sharing a little bit of why the financial advisor is absolutely phenomenal, why the borrower should care. The second half of it is me explaining a little bit about the situation of the borrower. Borrower's got 3 kids under the age of 9, or it's their first investment property. Just something about where like the financial advisor can kind of get a head start of it. But I don't text the data out. I don't just share the information. I do a warm email introduction introducing both parties professionally.
That's awesome, right? So think about that. You all know it. You all hate it when someone just says, "Oh, I gave Wally your number and he's going to call you." You prefer to be in the driver's seat on it. So he's setting up the relationship he has, regardless of which seat they're sitting in, for success, because he's given them their email address. He has given the name and the information to the client, and they got their phone number. And so it's on the onus of that referral partner to actually pick up the phone and call. And I'm guessing, Wally, that the referral partners you have all do that they're not timid and shy, or you wouldn't be referring them out.
Yeah, definitely not timid, definitely not shy. And every Friday we have a scheduled call. The loan officers on my team have a scheduled call with the wealth partner, the financial advisor, CPA, whoever. And they go through a list of what referrals we sent them that week, and we make sure they actually got in contact with them. Because a mistake that we made in the past is we refer John Smith to the CPA. We think we did something good and send it over to him, but then the CPA can't get a hold of John Smith, or vice versa. I want to make sure they connected, because we do that on every Friday, because on a monthly basis, I've got a scorecard with each wealth advisor, each CPA of, hey, you referred me 6 referrals this week. I've referred you 7, high five across the board. Or I've referred you 6 and you've only referred me 2. Like, what's going on here? Did I lose your trust? How can we work better together? So
And
it's really important. Go ahead.
you mentioned 4 insurance brokers. How many financial advisors, how many trust attorneys, how many CPAs are you referring?
76 financial advisors, 14 CPAs, 5 family will attorneys, and 4 insurance brokers.
Wow.
Thanks.
That's pretty awesome. 76. That is amazing. And I'm assuming they're all different size. They all have different areas of expertise, right? You're not going to send the person who wants someone with $1 million minimum of investable assets, the person who's just starting out and trying to invest $100 a month. And then you've got some people who are newer financial advisors who may be hungrier and better at follow-up, that can work with some of your younger clients that are just getting started as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've read the book 24/7 Mindset. So in there I talk about the 4 quadrants. We in our CRM we grade them out of who the rookie of the year is, who the star quarterback is, who the head coach is, and who's in the owner bracket category. Then we refer our clients accordingly to them. So it's segmented out.
Yeah, and so think about that, right? As you guys are doing, and I saw when one of the documents that Wally has in his hundreds of documents he's given to us today on his free downloads is the 4 quadrants, so that you can see those. And again, I think it's just thinking through. It's funny. Deborah Bird would be super happy because I could give you a Coach Prime referral, right? He says, if not you, then who, right? So I would encourage y'all to think about that, right? I mean, I oftentimes find that people get on here, Paul says, well, there's levels between the average loan officer and Wally, and that's true, but you all have the ability, if you choose, to move up to the next level. And it might take you a month, it might take you 6 months, it might take you 6 years, but you have the choice to do that. But you just have to have that word right above Wally's head, the right mindset around doing it. And what I would say is we've been knocked down, but again, you have the opportunity, even being knocked down, to go out and crush it in 2024. And oftentimes we're just looking for what's that little nudge, what's that little excitement, what's that little opportunity. And Wally's just gifted you a lifetime of opportunity, a lifetime of information. And so don't get overwhelmed by it. Your goal is better, not best. Your goal isn't to be Wally. It's just to move one step closer to having a business that looks like the business that Wally has, and choosing what that is. And, I think some people probably scoff when Wally said, 10 hours, when he said he works, you can work 10 hours a week and do 20 million. And you can. I mean, that's the whole piece of the win by noon piece of it. If you do those most important activities, you can just react to the rest of the day. And, that can be sitting wherever you want, doing whatever you want to do. Give it people real quick too. What does the 24/7 part of mindset mean? Because that's the part that I loved. I think most people think, you're all working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but yours is genius.
Thank you. But I got to brag on you first before I kind of dig into that. So I was meeting with an insurance agent the other day, and he's a golfer, and he said that I said, how often you golf? He goes, every day. I'm like, wow, how do you have time to golf every day? And he goes, well, if you can't do your job by noon every day, then you're not doing your job right. And I look over his desk, I'm like, and the dude's got to win by noon, organizer on his desk. I'm like, oh my God. Totally forgot I was going to send you a picture of
That
it.
is awesome.
But
Love that
yeah,
story.
if you can't do your job by noon, you're doing something wrong. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, so I golf. I don't golf every day, but I golf 3, 4 times a week. If you golf 3, 4 times a week, instead of working 40 hours, there's only roughly 24 hours in the week to work. I take 20 weeks of vacation a year. I take 10 weeks of vacation with my wife and my 2 high school children. They're about to be in college. And then take 5 weeks of vacation. My wife and I, we married going on 19 years. And then I go on 5 golf trips a year. So if you're on vacation 20 weeks a year, how many months are left to work? It's 7. So 24/7 mindset was built out from my lifestyle of the last 10 years. It's how do you build a mortgage business that pays you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, while you only have to work in it 24 hours a week, 7 months a year.
Yeah, it just blows me away. I mean, I feel, you've kind of taken that's one where you've taken to the next level. The first time Bill Hart interviewed me on the stage at Sales Mastery was coming off of 2 straight years where I took a significant over 50 days of vacation. At that time, I thought it was super significant. He thought I was the most balanced loan officer that he knew. Of course, it was a changing market. This was 2007, 2008. And I'm like, yeah, it's not quite the same anymore. I don't think I'll be taking quite that much vacation, but you've just taken that from, again, a certain level way to the stratosphere. But I think about it, right? For not all of you think that's the life you can or want to live, but gosh, wouldn't it be nice to have one extra, long weekend with your wife, or one extra long weekend with your kids, or maybe the opportunity to go and do stuff with family. And I think that's when you have I talked about systems and models and tech and tools. I mean, that's what Wally's built. That's what this community is about, right? That's why Dave gets on here and talks about 10X Tuesdays. And I would tell you this, I mean, you all could take what Wally did and 10X your business. What do you think a realistic time, Wally? I mean, if you were going to talk to someone who, let's just say they've been in the business for a couple of years, they're doing, 3 to 6 loans a month. I mean, for them to get to maybe 10 or 20 loans a month, what do you think is a realistic time frame in today's market?
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing it as an addition loan officer, I mean, a decade probably. If you're doing it as a multiplier loan officer, 6 months, 3 to 6 months, candidly. In the academy, I just taught it like I'm living my best life ever, man. In the academy right now, the 6 Lane Highway Academy, the ability I'm watching these loan officers that they are pulling out referrals from their database, and then they're referring out to realtors, or pulling out referrals from their, one loan officer generated $64,000 in commissions in the last week. $64,000 in commissions in the last week that he was able to refer out to his realtor, CPA, financial advisor, family will attorney, and insurance. And it's just, it works. You get 1 referral, you refer out 4, you receive 2 back. I mean, your business doubles within 3 to 6 months. But you've got to understand, you've got to learn how to refer out those 4 and how to build those partnerships.
Well, and so let's kind of wrap it up from here, right? So first off, thanks, Wally. I mean, he gave us a master class on living not just a great life, but building a great business, right? And when you're building a great business, it's benefiting others, right? When you can refer out whether it's $6,000 or $64,000 of commissions to other business owners who are out there trying to do the thing that you're trying to do, it's always going to come back to you, as Wally said, right? The numbers that he put out there are impressive, real numbers. And I think everyone's got the opportunity. So I would encourage you to take advantage of all the free resources that Wally put out there. If it's in your budget, he's got some paid resources. You can take it up to the next level. Other ways to pay it forward is have your friends who are loan officers in your office log on to Amazon and buy Wally's book. If you download the free book, you heard it asked, right? Amazon review, Google review, right? The way that people buy more books is by getting reviews. And so that would be what I would personally ask for you to do on behalf of Wally. And then just know that you're going to have to go back and rewatch this. And again, just pick one, two, or three things to implement over the next 30 days, right? And Wally said the one number, right? You got to start with one and get it done. And then just own it, and then stack the next one. But Wally, man, that was awesome. As always, thank you. Appreciate you sharing with this community. On behalf of Dave, the whole crew at Trust Engine, grateful for all of you who were watching. We would love it if you would go ahead, if you're watching this on YouTube, give it a like, hit the subscribe button up above, share it with a friend. If you're a sales manager, certainly make sure that all your team members are watching it. And as always, we will be back on Friday with the next mastermind, and Dave and the crew will see you next Tuesday for the next 10X Tuesday. Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.